Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another scene of Living World of Darkness, the Mage venue. This scene will probably only feature Ava, or mostly feature Ava. Um, Actually, I do have a quick question for IST, which I will try to write in the side chat while I'm narrating. This is the easiest way to ask that. Okay, so um, shit happens. Shit went down in the Bronx. Ava, I can imagine, is staying with Nausicaa somewhere with the other hermet or other mages, I should say. They're not all hermetics. Um, and she is, however, taking some time away from the group. And is going to go for a walk. Actually, not taking Paris along. Um, which might be off, but yeah, she would explain to the others that she really needs some time to process everything that has happened, losing their home, and how she feels like there's a turmoil inside of her that just won't stop spinning, and she needs some time just to herself to get her mind straight. Um, she will go and head into an industrial area that they once knew hosted actually a amongst other things a technocratic facility that they sort of destroyed where Ava was captured. In this area, it might not be the same building. It might be. She will look for an empty warehouse. Hopefully one where she doesn't actually need to break in because she knows she doesn't really have the skills to do so. And will, after some looking, after some walking, will actually find one that has, like, broken windows and a door kicked in, and she'll head inside, sort of inspecting the place, making sure there are no homeless people here. And once she knows that it's empty, or at least at the moment empty, she is going to put her back to the side, and is going to gather, like, any kind of material that's left in this warehouse, carton boxes, pieces of a door, all that kind of stuff. She's going to gather it and build a fire, using a Zippo that she bought, and she will place at a she will actually, like, throw some petrol on it, which she bought, like a small tank, not a big one, because she doesn't need to fill up her car or her truck or whatever. Um, and we'll create a small fire, and we'll put little pieces of wood around the fire so that the fire will like catch the ends of it, turning the tips into charcoal tips. As this is going on and the fire is just glowing and creating, like, that little warm, fuzzy feeling, although it smells because a lot of the wood is like has, like, paint on it, and the petrol isn't really that great of a smell either. And Ava will start to very slowly, actually almost methodically, start to undress. First, she will take off her shirt, her shoes, her socks, her pants, her bra, her underpants. Everything will be neatly folded at a, again, safe distance of the fire. And then Ava will look at this very neatly folded um, heap of clothing, and there's just a giggle for a moment. And she'll kick the clothing. It looks completely whack. But she'll kick the clothing, make sure that there's nothing of that perfection of those neatly folded clothing. Everything is just now all over this warehouse floor. Her shoes are in one corner, or one shoe is in the other one. In the other one, there's socks, there's her shirt, her everything is just lying there. Um, and with that happening, she will walk back to the fire. Will grab one of these pieces of wood with the charcoal tips now, and starts carving. Well, carving might not be the right word because it's not a knife, but starts drawing with this smoldering charcoal tips, just symbols of Enochian on her skin, kind of transferring the shadow and the smoke of the fire, uh, transferring it onto her skin as she is almost repetitively humming. It seems to be the same melody she's humming over and over and over and over, almost like she's getting into this trance. But it's never actually the same. There's always uh, either something out of tune, or just a little bit longer, or a bit faster, or the dynamic is just different, where her voice goes up one time, it goes down the other time. There's little changes in it. And as she continues to hum and draw these symbols onto her arms, her legs, her face, her neck, uh, her belly, her chest, um, the music that she's humming starts to become more and more dynamic and less repetitive, until it doesn't really look like there's any melody in it at all. As she is calling forth the spirits of shadows, and is just, creating a shield that will hide her um, from anyone trying to find her, and from anyone trying to invade her mind, as she's building up the shadows around her form, both mental as well as physically. Um, yeah, as she draws the final symbol, which she draws around her belly button, and we'll put down the charcoal sticks. She'll she'll get up and starts drawing a ritual circle, in which she um, starts writing words on the outside of the circle, in three, well, I would say corners of the circle. She'll actually draw like a triangle in as well. In each point of the triangle, she will write names. Um, Didi, sisters, and I know, and Lee. She will write other words that represent these three to her. And in the midst of the triangle, there where the lines, if you would draw them from out of the points, would cross. So basically, the middle of the circle, she will she'll draw her own name. We'll put candles down on all these points, and then with the petrol starts, um, basically drawing the circle again and drawing the triangle again. And she'll stand in the middle, and we'll start to call on the spirits to guide her soul to these these people that she's looking for. Let the spirits please guide me. Make my mind's eye see where they are. Show me their location, their surroundings, who they are with. I demand you, spirits, forces of nature, to show me the way to these creatures. And she'll then actually slice her hand open, will drop the blood in the middle of the circle, and on like each point where there were names, representing the connection between her and the three uh, well, groups or individuals that she's trying to find. Then lights up the Zippo again, and will light up the petrol, so that the circle will be set on fire. And as the circle is on fire, Ava, dressed only in these symbols and her long red hair, will start dancing along the lines of the circle, of the triangle, spinning around, laughing, and letting all the maniacal thoughts that are in her head just go wild and go free, as she is putting everything that she's got in this dance. I don't know if you're talking, but you're muted, sweetie.
Yes, I realize. Let's go against it. So as you do all of these things, as the darkness in the room just tightens around you, around this fire, as you can, as the wind starts to, you can hear the smoldering fire around you, the heat on your naked skin as you dance around. You can hear the entity that you only know as that at least usually calls itself the Breaker of Fractures. Just purr like a cat within your flesh as it just moves around. Moves into your eyes for a moment, just looking through them as you dance around the fire before moving along the symbols in your body. It's gonna whisper, when you find one of them, will you break them a little for me, and then unbreak them? It asks as you dance before your eyes start to tune yourself to see who you're looking for.
Um, she'll laugh at his question and will then reply, "What if by leaving them untouched or by breaking them, I can break others? The ripples that will flow further and further from this one crack."
As long as the wounds are broken again, that is fine. It's just as long as it just burns along it. Like the thing is, like it feels like it's like just like it's almost like a not like a snake, but it's like it's in your skin and it just moves along you, purring. Like sometimes it gets really weird and just like caresses like where your previous wounds have been, almost like smugly determining that there's no wounds here. And as you dance, you notice that your palm, like it floats up to your palm, and it almost is like it rips the cut apart, despite the fact that new skin there. It's like just the skin just comes up and just pushes the wounds apart, so to speak, which is a really freaky, unnatural sort of healing. But as you dance and as you focus on the spirits, you can feel the spirit, the different spirits through the world guiding your sight. And the first you see are your three sisters. They seem to be once again hidden somewhere. They have plaster from the building and soot all over their bodies, and there seems to be pieces of wood and things in their hair. But they seem to be squatting in some warehouse in the city, since several of them didn't exactly recover that well from the wounds. Some of them still had pieces of wine that Adriana had bound them up so tightly with, wrapped around their legs or their abdomens and stuff. They're currently eating from a corpse. They've killed a homeless person, it seems, and they're eating from it. just like laying on the ground. The tentacles seems to be dark, like looking for them instead of while they're down with their mouths just ripping chunks of the flesh away. They don't even have sharp teeth, so it's not that efficient. But they seem to be going at it.
Mm, fair enough.
Yes. Uh, and as for your sight moves again away from them as you now know where they are. And you don't need to. If you there seems to be no one else in their immediate surroundings. Your sight then moves further away to Didi. Didi is in the sewers, and he is not alone. You can see around him he's managed to somehow save the different cocoons. They lay in the sewer with him, and they're hatching out, and he's kneeling on his, sitting on one knee in front of them as different monstrous-looking aliens just rip themselves out of the white cocoon. One is a like almost tree, is almost like over way over 2 meter tall alien lizard covered with blades. One seems to be some kind of like really monstrous-looking centipede. One is just one being just seems to be an entirety of tentacles. Two seems to be just slightly smaller-looking versions of Didi, but with purple scales as opposed to his like yellowish sort of complexion. And one of them grows out into a four-legged, but like with opposable thumbs on all limbs, long flesh. Like it's different. Loads of different aliens are down there in the series, and they're all repeating one word in the language you kind of come to recognize as a hive language, and you've heard a word enough that they're repeating the hive over and over again as they rip themselves out of the cocoon and stand there in the dark sewer below.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do anything or like note anything else before your mind goes along?
Like for both of these groups, like actually for like Didi and his children as well as for her sisters, if she would grab a map, would she know where they are roughly?
Yeah, she knows where they are.
Okay, good.
Well, I mean, it's harder for the sewers, but yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, but there's sewers in Manhattan, there's sewers in Queens. So would she know, like, okay, they're here in Manhattan in roughly this area, or
well, I mean, they're in the Bronx sewer, but yeah, like it's
okay,
like they're under somewhere, but you
can't pinpoint
know
where.
exactly where in the sewers they are on the map.
Okay.
But yeah, but I mean, you know where they are. Like, as for your sisters, they're also they're also in the Bronx, but not
Mhm.
the river. Um, and then your mind goes to a corpse lying at the bottom of the river, floating there. Um, you can see that he has You can see that Lee's body has several puncture wounds in his chest and his neck. Um, and it just is he's floating in East River.
Okay. Um Interesting.
So now you have seen them.
Yeah. Um so there's three things she would like to do. Most difficult one being the one with her sister, so she'll leave that for now. Or I'll leave that for now because the other two are easier to accomplish. Um or no, yeah, I want to try and establish a mind link with Dee Dee.
The problem, once again, it's the problem of you have only minds. You don't have core.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Okay. Well, I thought because I have found him now, I know where he is, I can
Yes,
like
but you're
use that,
still
but
doing it over a massive distance, so you would have to do
yeah,
a ritual by yourself to try and get.
yeah. Okay, no, in that case, I'm going to use the same things that I'm using that I want to use for my sisters for now. I want to use that on Didi. Um, can I summon like spirits to basically keep an eye out on them, know where they are?
Yes. What kind of spirit do you want to summon?
Hmm. I don't know what kind of spirit I could summon in a situation like this.
Any
Like,
spirit can do this.
okay.
I mean,
Um,
the if you want the breaker of fractures to give you advice, he gives you the advice to summon a void flame because there's so much fire here that could be cancelled out and be silenced.
mm,
Basically, the way you are tainted is calling for a fire spirit tainted by the same thing. I'm writing up that, so I'll send you the concepts later to you and Robbie because you do steer things. Anyway, you can then
yeah, sure.
rules. So to
Hmm.
I will now give me a second. I will now dramatically get to the spirit preparation. So first, you have to. I mean, I will say that you have done quite a bit of preparation. You,
Hmm.
yeah. So that's something. Um, I mean, you should probably think about adding some additional protection to yourself. Your magic will, by the way, be at a difficulty increase of 1 since you have 2 ongoing effects.
Yeah.
Yeah, after you've done the scrying. Uh, 1 second. I'm just gonna check something. Anyway, yeah. So you can then you just roll for whatever protection you want to set up around yourself. I would recommend the Forces Shield, for example. So
Yeah. I was gonna say that would be a forces shield.
yeah, just roll to set that up. You don't need a ritual for it.
That is probably 3 successes.
Yeah, so probably you roll again just to be safe because
Yeah.
0. Well, 3 successes. Yeah, you can set up a force of shield that lasts enough time for the scene, so you can.
Yeah.
Anyway, then I will implore you to start. You have done your preparation as shaman. For one, you have already prepared this scene. This is a pretty shamanistic magic place. The thing about shamans have an easier time. They don't have to do like such elaborate like setups with circles and shit because
Yeah.
your safety depends much more on your own personal power because you deal much more directly with spirits.
Hmm.
The only thing you now need is to find an appropriate sacrifice. You need offerings.
Mm, yeah. I think I've got one.
Okay, what do you have?
Well, it's not necessarily a sacrifice at that point in time, but I basically want to sacrifice the first building I see. Want to light it up to the flames.
You're going to set a building on fire. Well, I mean that's a sacrifice of deed. So that's for. You're going to do that for. Okay, cool. You can. Um, yeah, you can definitely go with that as an option.
Hmm.
By all means, then I will see for what's the 4th stage. Sorry, initial combat. Yeah, well, then you roll to summon these things. You would probably
Yeah.
need successes to summon 2 spirits.
How many?
4 successes to summon
Four
2
successes.
spirits. Just this is still vulgar, by the way. So I mean,
Hmm.
this is a ritual, I presume. Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
first roll I had a 7.
yeah, the difficulty is therefore it's only that you only need spirit 2 to summon. So the
Yeah.
difficulty is therefore what's it called? Hmm. Difficulty is therefore 6. I know math, and it actually is 7 due to your increased difficulty due to added effect.
Yeah.
Difficulty is 7 for you. My bad. And
So that is 3 successes and I have no idea what the third one was. Okay, it looks like Discord is frozen, so do you mind if I just spend the willpower for the final success?
Yeah, you can just do that.
Because I did roll, but I don't see the results.
I do not see anything either. Let me test it. Now it works. So I will just
Okay,
do that for you.
that's also fine.
Yeah. You get 3 successes.
Okay,
Yeah, it's capped at 6, mind you, but since it's not a big ritual.
yeah.
Yeah, you got them up to 4 successes by now. You
Yeah.
should be fine.
I mean, if those 2 successes from you count, then it's 4 and it's 5 successes actually. So.
Yeah, 5 successes. Excellent.
Ah, now it's worked.
Yeah, cool. Well then, as you narrate how you do the summoning.
How she's gonna do the summoning? She will actually start to kind of with the petrol from the inside of the circle. She will pour in like a spiral pattern towards the outer circle that is on fire. She will not connect it yet because then she would probably say boom because she holds a petrol flask.
Yeah.
Um, and she will, before like those two kind of set each other on fire, she will actually throw the petrol flask to a far corner of the room because there's going to be a lot of fire in the circle now. And with like a stick, she will lay a stick in between the
2 opposing lines.
the petrol that is on fire and the petrol that isn't yet.
Yeah.
And she will sit like in the middle where the spiral sort of ends. And we'll start just saying the name of like basically the voids over and over again. Like I have um I have your flames, I have your fire, I have your passion, come and eat it. Spirits of the void, come to me. I give you energy, raw energy, untamed and fire here for you to eat. And as she's waiting for like the stick to catch fire and then kind of leak the fire onto the spiral petrol that she drew, and as you know, as that catches fire, it will be in the middle pretty soon, and that's basically the time that she's using to summon the void spirits.
Well, the great thing that as you watch the fire, like the spiral suddenly just like the fire is like before the fire, just before it reaches you, you see 2 gray pricks of fire just stop at like the end of the like suddenly just appear up near the circle, and then it's almost like it's like a gray black fire just goes in the opposite array around the the spiral to the big, sucks out all the flames, leaving just the original fire now, a black sort of flame, and from it 4 sets of eyes rises up from like slightly from the smoke, slightly in the fire, looking at you. The eyes are purple in the otherwise gray. Like it's not a like black flame. Black is kind of actually it's just dark gray that almost looks black. It's almost shimmering. And the fire, unlike the previous fire, is cold. It's cold. It has the same like consuming feel of fire. It just drained and canceled out all the fire you had set up. That elaborate ritual is now just being consumed by this other very strange sort of flame. And the 2 eyes lay on you. The 2 sets of eyes sort of just lay on you for a few seconds in complete silence before speaking to you, addressing you fully. Ava nimue kaja bello fene lindgren bani shae et ordo hermeticum Prophy and Wordsmith, three as one. You have called on our attention, and we have answered. The void flames have consumed the impure fire, and here we now are. What is it you wish of us?
I wish of you to keep an eye out on individuals that hmm, I would like to know where they are and what they're doing.
The fire just chuckles and just ripples, and it almost like extends back into the petrol circle for a few seconds before like tracking back, and you can feel just like how cold the ground is now, as opposed to the how hot and warm it was earlier. Um, they just eye you some more for a few seconds. You possessed by a silent spirit of harm, wish to ask us for a favor. We see. But what in return? What do you want in return? You don't even follow proper protocol, which is most unfortunate for a shaman as you.
Mhm.
Fire just like extend like the fire just splits off almost like snakeheads, just like floating out like this, just looking at you, examining you with the two purple eyes and the flame.
Alva will actually chuckle and at these words, and will basically from like underneath her eyelashes will look at the spirits, and she will not at all look afraid. She'll just stand there and actually straightens up. That was the old me. This is the new me. I've learned my ways. I've learned to do better, and I will do better by you. More of this fire I will give to you. A whole building of it for you to eat, to grow on, to feast upon.
This is you want us to see for you, and then let us give fire for us to consume. This
Yeah.
smells interesting of an offer. Uh, you just eye a few seconds again. But aren't you getting a bit ahead of yourself? After all, you have a sister that might be disheartening. You don't have necessarily the best history with spirits, as after all, you have a certain specter following you around even today. Blink for a few seconds. Clearly, very very impressed with themselves, having like dug out this secret about you and just search.
Mm-hmm. Ava will close her eyes for a moment and then looks at them. And she looks almost um, amused, but also angry. She says, "I will deal with my sister in my time. You think that I wouldn't have if I cared? If I'd cared about that, that would have been solved. That's beneath me. I'm bored with that. And hmm, I think I might be able to use her."
Okay, well then. They just seem slightly taken aback about this. Now we get to the last step, which is the contest of wills, which because we've already like started doing the negotiation, which is part of
Mhm.
this. Now, just you have to roll. It's a willpower roll. These
Yeah.
people have rather low willpower, so you only need 4 successes to beat them. Your difficulty, which would usually be standard diff, is reduced by 2 because you, for one, you've given them a significant sacrifice, and the service is actually rather simple. So difficulty 4 for you.
Okay.
Uh, and
Wow. Terrible roll. 2 successes.
what is your permanent willpower?
Permanent willpower is 6.
Yeah, okay, so they need 6 successes. I
Yeah.
will only ones from behalf of them. So whoever wins wins. Uh, they get 3. Roll again.
Shit. Wait a minute. Now my computer decides to freeze up. I'll have to grab my phone.
I will roll. I will roll for you.
Okay.
60-10?
60-10.
Yes, you have 3 more successes.
Yep. So I'm on
It's
5
your
now.
turn. Yeah, well, I mean, I will roll again in case they actually catch up to you and gets it, but that will require them to get 3 more successes in one go, which they do not. So you win the bartering, as you both of you, like the 3 parties, you just continue to exchange jabs at each other. The spirit will finally blink at you a few times and retract themselves back. And the stick that you used in a ritual will suddenly it's not blackened in the same way you would expect it. It's blue actually. The burning is left it blue, and it lies before you. When you have lit the fire, throw this stick in. It carries a bit of void flame in it, and if it's close to normal fire again, or impure fire rather, sorry, it will ignite itself and consume the fire from within. You pick it up the stick,
Oh yeah, of course she picks up the stick.
and we will keep an eye up. And with that, the 2 spirits, the void flame is going to just fade away. The 2 eyes at least are going to fade away from it. So you only have the blackened fire, and you can just feel it sucking the last bit of heat in the room. There's some frost now. I mean, it's it's not impressive in New York, mind you, but like this time of year. But it's still some frost left in the inside now as the fire just goes out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only blue ashes remaining from where from your handiwork.
Interesting. I will actually gather, um, the blue ashes before she will scatter the rest,
Yeah,
um, making it so that no one can at least trace what was done here, like literally, physically.
yeah,
And starts dressing herself.
yeah.
Uh, mm,
Then you have some arsony you need to do.
I have some arsony I need to do. Okay. I said building. I never said what kind of building. Technically, I can just light this building, but I will not do that.
Yeah, but you just need to light up a building. It doesn't
I
have to
just
be.
need to light up a building. So, um, well, we're in an industrial area.
Yeah.
Is there like a big warehouse or a big office building? Is there a big office building nearby? That sounds like fun.
Yes, there is a big office building nearby. Due to it being in the middle of the night, it's not open, and it's in a construction area, so it's not like a high priority. It doesn't have security guards near it or anything. It's just like an office for people to organize the building.
Yeah. Okay. So what Ava will do is she will pour the last of the petrol in a corner at the building. Will throw her Zippo at it, and of course that won't create as big a fire as she'll need to set this entire building on fire. But with forces 2, she can strengthen the fire and make it consume the building faster.
Yes, you can roll for this now. This is not, yeah. Since you're trying to play off the arsony as natural, it's not going to be a. I mean, you have to have existing fire to use forces, mind you. I
Yeah.
sort of said that, but I just sometimes my hearing shorts out a bit.
Hmm. No, but that's why she did like the entire thing with the petrol and the Zippo. So it's 2 3s and a 7, so that's 1 success. That is 3 successes, so 4 total. Trying to determine, would 6 successes be enough? So
Well, you
can I do
can't. Yeah, with forces too, you can only manipulate so much fire. You can't like manipulate an entire
okay.
force, an entire house fire. But you can definitely help stoke the existing flames and make them grow and be more efficient. But it's still up to the building or not if it burns.
Yeah. Well, this is 7 successes.
Yeah, 7 successes. Well, I mean, 6 successes where you're capped at since you're not
Yeah.
doing
Yeah,
ritual.
I know.
Yes. Well, it's going to not take that much time.
Good, because that was kind of what I was hoping for. Because every office building will have smoke detectors, so even this one will have, like, there will be a fire alarm going in with like at least 15 minutes, and that's if it's like really badly protected. At that point, Ava wants to be at least far enough away, but hopes that it'll be enough to get the building going.
Yes. Well, indeed, it should. It is enough. Soon enough, you see the fire is just spreading through the building. You can see some of the windows melting. You can hear the fire alarms go off inside of it.
Hmm.
Yes, you've set fire to the building. Its fire is spreading. Probably the sprinkler system is probably taking out some of it, but the
Yeah.
fire. You've made the fire work very efficiently in a very short amount of time. And
Hmm.
was involved, I seem to recall. So that always is a nice bonus. Now, what are you doing with the blue stick? Are you throwing it in yet, or are you
Gonna.
waiting until the fire is spread more?
Yeah, I want to wait until the fire spread more because I said I would promise them a building.
Yeah, and I mean it doesn't take that much time until the entire building is ablaze. You may,
Then the stick goes in.
yes, you throw the stick in, and it's actually very fascinating. As you see from inside, you can suddenly see like it's almost like the fire is fighting because suddenly just almost like the fire is fighting each other. Suddenly, like you can see, like the gray void flame is just like this wrestling with the existing much larger fire, but it just consumes it more and more as the fire just spreads through the building, and leaving just this strange gray void flame. Suddenly, it doesn't look like it's a light anymore. It just looks like it's like having a gray gas leak almost, but it burns nonetheless. And yeah, and then the fire is going to short itself out, and the blackened and blue building is just going to, yeah, it's a wreck now. And you should probably get out of the way because
Oh
fire is
yeah,
coming.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Alpha will, watch for a little bit until she actually kind of like starts hearing the sirens of like
Yeah.
fire trucks and everything, and then she'll back away, kind of laughing to herself. She's wrapping herself in her jacket, and we'll head back to the yeah, to wherever the mages are residing at the moment.
Yes, it's in a hotel not too far away. Let's,
Hmm.
yes. So I think that with that we can end this scene for now. Your the breaker of fractures is singing within you, slightly, waiting for you to bathe him in blood from your enemies again.
Soon, soon. First, we will actually bathe to get like the fire smell out of our clothes and everything, because we wouldn't want to come across as anything suspicious, now will we?
Do you
So,
share a room with anyone?
thank you, SD, for staying, and I'll see you again in Living World of Darkness.
Yes. See you around, people.